Ah, there is nothing better than watching children play piano. After all, that's what I was created for. Music. It transports you, takes you to a different time. This song? It's full of history, kind of like me. I am the family piano, representative of a painful past and key to the bountiful future. But for quite some time, my family couldn't believe that I could be both. You see, after slavery ended, they didn't know where they fit. Finally, they had a future. But somehow, the invisible shackles of the past kept them chained to the memory of slavery. They didn't know how to escape it. What were they to do with their heritage? As the generation between those born in slavery and those born in freedom, they struggled. Would simply moving on risk and dishonor their family's past? And what was the past anyway? Both the words slavery and past were spoken in hushed voices growing up. And then, what about moving forward? It seemed impossible to rise above when they were planted at the bottom of the totem pole in a white man's world, especially when they couldn't agree what to do with their only resource, me. I didn't get much playing time in those days. Berniece, as keen as she was to keep me, refused to make music. But this isn't a story about possession or dominance, a sibling rivalry, or a childish argument. It's about every person back in 1930s America coming face to face with freedom for the first time in centuries, for the questions they had and the struggles they endured, in an effort to find an answer. Who are we? Where do we fit? And how do we survive? In the piano lesson, August Wilson's depiction of two siblings' brash arguments over a piano, a family heirloom, reveal two hallowed but contrasting perspectives of how to move past their ancestral history of slavery. Both desire freedom and value their past, but Berniece chooses to move forward by clinging to the piano and its legacy, whereas Boy Willie wishes to sell it and buy land in honor of his father. Their conflicting views regarding how to achieve freedom and shape their new culture without forsaking the past capture the dilemma faced by the African Americans in the 1930s. Wilson's portrayal of the character belligerent speculations reminds the African American community that true freedom of the shackles of the past can only be achieved if they both come to terms with the agony of the past and choose to build on it, emphasizing that neither perspective or of the characters was wholly right or wrong. This is the piano lesson. It's a parable of sorts that expresses the idea that we must embrace where we've come from before we can move forward. But then, I guess instead of trying to tell you, I should just show you.
Boy Willie, you're gonna play around with me one too many times, and then God's gonna bless you, and West is gonna dress you. Now set that piano back over there. I done told you 100 times that I ain't selling that piano.
I'm trying to get me some land, woman. I need that piano to get me some money so I can buy Sutter's land.
Money can't buy what that piano costs. You can't sell your soul for money. It won't go to the buyer. It'll shrivel and shrink, and know that you ain't taken onto it, but it won't go with the buyer.
I ain't talking about all that, woman. I ain't talking about selling my soul. I'm talking about trading that piece of wood for some land. Get something under your feet, woman. Land ain't the only thing God ain't making no more of. You can't always get you another piano. I'm talking about some land. Where you get something off the ground from. That's what I'm talking about. You can't do nothing with that piano but sit up there and look at it.
Well, that's just what I'm gonna do. Whining boy, do you want some pork chops?
Now, I'm gonna tell you the way I see it. The only thing that makes the piano worth something is them carvings Papa Willie boy made on there. That's what makes it worth something. That was my great-granddaddy. Papa Boy Charles brought that piano into the house. Now I'm supposed to build on what they left me. You can't do nothing with that piano they left me. You can't do nothing with that piano sitting up here in the house. That's just like I left them the watermelon sit out there and rot. I'd be a fool. Alright, now, if you say to me, Boy Willie, I'm using that piano, I give out lessons on it, and that helped me make rent or whatever, and then that'd be something else. I'd have to go on and say, well, Bernice using that piano. She building on it. Let her go and use it. I got to find another way to get Sutter's land. But don't say you ain't touched that piano the whole time it's been up here. So why you want to stand in my way? See, you're just looking at the sentimental value. See, that's good. That's alright. I take my hat off whenever somebody says my daddy's name. But I ain't gonna be no fool about sentimental value. You can sit up here and look at the piano for the next 100 years and it's just gonna be a piano. You can't make more than that. Now I want to get Sutter's land with that piano. I get Sutter's land, and I can go down and cash in the crop and get my seed. As long as I got the land and seed, then I'm alright. I can always get me a little something else, because that land, give back to you. I can make me another crop and cash that in. I still got the land and the seed. But that piano, don't put on nothing else. You ain't got nothing working for you. Now, the kind of man my daddy was, he would have understood that. I'm sorry you can't see it that way. But that's why I'm going to take the piano out of here and sell it.
You ain't taking that piano off my house. Look at this piano. Look at it. Mama Ola polished this piano with her tears every day for 17 years. For 17 years, she rubbed on it until her hands bled. Then she rubbed the blood in, mixed it with the rest of the blood on it. Every day that God breathed life into her body, she rubbed and cleaned and polished and prayed all over it. Play something for me, Berniece. Play something for me, Berniece. Every day, I cleaned it for you. Play something for me, Berniece. You're always talking about your daddy, but you ain't never stopped to look at this foolishness cost your mama. 17 years worth of cold nights and empty bed. For what? For a piano? For a piece of wood? To get even with somebody? I look at you, and you're all the same. You, Papa Boy Charles, Whining Boy, Doker, Crawley, you're all alike. All this thieving and killing and thieving and killing, and what did it ever lead to? More killing and thieving. I ain't never seen it come to nothing. People getting burned up, people getting shot, people falling down their wells. They don't ever stop.
Now, I'm pretty old. I have a lot of history carved into myself. Literally. My first owners were slave owners who owned my family. It's quite a different world now, and new generations in the African American community have so much more freedom than they did just a few decades ago. So why am I so important the center of an argument between two siblings? I stand as the only physical remains of the past. The only physical remains of the ancestors of Berniece and Boy Willie. Exactly what's causing their argument to be so fierce on whether to sell me or keep me as a reminiscence of that harsh past. Which is better, holding on to a past or letting go and moving on? The dispute over me, which is really about the value of legacy and heritage, poisons their relationship. In fact, I almost left one day when the argument climaxed and Boy Willie disregarded Bernice's thoughts to dramatically attempt to take the piano from the house and sell it for land when she wasn't home. This revealed the values of the two, including Boy Willie's selfishness and resilience, Doker's empathy, and Lyman's indifference. The scene adds to the story as a whole because it dramatizes their argument over the piano and its symbolism, and it reveals the inner values of the characters involved in a tense scene. I'm thankful that Boy Willie's mischievous plan didn't work out, because it was a close call, and I like staying in this family and watching generations go by. I have to say, that day I was a little nervous.
Boy Willie, what are you doing? I'm carrying this piano out the house. What does it look like I'm doing? Come on, Lyman, let's try this again.
Come on, let the piano sit there till Berniece come home.
This ain't got nothing to do with you, Doker. This is my business.
This is my house. I ain't gonna let you or nobody else carry nothing out of it. You ain't gonna carry nothing out of here without my permission.
This is my piano. I don't need your permission to carry my belongings out of your house. This is mine. This ain't got nothing to do with you.
I say leave it over there till Berniece come home. She got part of it too. Leave it set there till you see what she said.
I don't care what Berniece say. Come on, Lyman, I got this side.
Go on and cut it in half in two if you want to. Just leave Bernice's half sitting over there. I can't tell you what to do with the piano, but I can't let you pick her half out of here.
Go on, Doker. You ain't got nothing to do with this. I don't want you starting nothing now. Just go on and leave me alone. Come on, Lyman. I got this end.
How are we gonna get this in the truck?
Don't worry about how we're gonna get it in the truck. You have to get it out of the house first.
It's gonna take more than me and you to move this piano.
Just lift up that end, idiot.
Leave that piano sit over there till Berniece come back. I don't care what you do with it then, but you're gonna leave it sit over there right now.
I'm gonna tell you this, Doker. I'm going out of here. I'm gonna get me some rope, find me a plank and some wheels, and I'm coming back. And I'm gonna carry this piano out here, sell it, and give Berniece half the money. See, now that's what I'm gonna do. And you or nobody else is gonna stop me. Come on, Lyman. Let's go get some rope and stuff. I'll be back, Doker.
Now, you're probably wondering how Boy Willie got away with taking the piano. Well, not to spoil the end of my story, but he didn't.
Well, he should have.
Excuse me, who invited you into this conversation? This is my narration.
I'm a part of the story too, pal. Berniece was crazy. She was holding onto the piano without any regard for her family's future. She was stuck in the past.
She wasn't stuck in the past, she was just afraid. So she held on to me because she feared facing the past. That generation knew very little about the past of their parents. They were shielded from the indignities they suffered. Boy Willie and Bernice's grandfather worked on Sutter's plantation and carved all these pictures onto me. I guess you could call them my tattoos, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. Bernice is the only character that has a sensible, defensive, nostalgic personality. She wasn't about to let Boy Willie trade me for some land. What would we have done with that land anyway? Grow some more watermelons?
And Boy Willie wasn't being insensitive. Their parents were wrong to shield them from the past. It was important for African Americans to be aware of their past, even though it was scary, even if many parts of it were filled with struggle. Boy Willie loved his parents for what they sacrificed. He wanted to capitalize on that and finally create the future for their family that they had fought for and dreamed of for so many years.
All right, we get it. There's no right and there's no wrong. Now, if you're done interrupting me, I'd like to continue on with my story. So, in the final part of my story, the end of a sibling rivalry over me is depicted. The house is occupied by various guests, and Reverend Avery attempts to bless the house. The guests are gathered in the house with me, a symbol of slavery in the family's past. When Berniece comes to the realization she must play a tune to rid their home of Sutter's ghost. Through Bernice's actions, she emphasizes the importance of my story as she finally comes to terms with the past to protect her family and progress towards the future. Now, you're probably wondering, if Boy Willie didn't sell the piano, then what happened? Well, let's find out.
Sutter, come on and get some of this water, Sutter. Come on! You drowned in the well, Sutter. Come and get some of this water. Come on! Come on! Come on, Sutter.
The new heart also will like you do, and the new spirit will like still within you. And I will take out of your flesh the heartless stone, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk within my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
Come on, Sutter. Come back, Sutter.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, wine boy, you about ready to go back down home? Hey, Dover, what time's the train leave?
You still got time to make it.
Hey, Berniece, if you and Maritha don't keep on playing that piano, ain't no telling, me and Sutter both liable to be back. Thank you.
All was well. Our family had come a long way from the old days. Boy Willie came back every so often to check on Berniece and Maritha to make sure that they kept on making music. To them, I was not just a piano. I was their family legacy, their parents, their grandparents, and great-grandparents. Berniece and Boy Willie's father always was right. This family could not truly be set free without me. While it is important to move forward, you must also understand your history. It was a tragic era when humans were held slave to other humans, but shielding our children from what has happened stunts growth. These two siblings show us an entire generation of Americans who grew up with a new life, a new start to create something new, and to do so, they grew together. I am the family piano, representative of a painful past and key to the bountiful future. I am the family piano. I show the world that they are now free to express themselves in any way they choose. I am the family piano. I will always be a part of the family to help them make new music while still cherishing the old.